So at this point, Donald Trump is America's back mole. It may have seemed harmless a year ago, but now that it's gotten frighteningly bigger, it is no longer wise to ignore it. The Republican National Convention in Cleveland. The most apocalyptic thing ever to happen to that city, and bear in mind, their river has repeatedly caught fire. And we begin with Donald Trump. Rome burning in man form.
I thought Donald Trump was going to speak. Ivanka said that he was going to come out. She said he was really compassionate and generous, but then this angry groundhog came out, and he just vomited on everybody for an hour.
And finally tonight, we turn to Donald Trump, a racist voodoo doll made of discarded cat hair. And in a way, perhaps we've always been heading to this historic moment. The first female presidential nominee versus the human embodiment of every backwards, condescending, Mad Men-esque boys' club attitude that has ever existed, rolled into one giant, salivating, dick-sized referencing, pussy-grabbing warthog in a red power tie. And I'll put it this way. If American democracy is a computer game and Hillary is completing women's 100-year quests to get to the Oval Office, it kind of makes sense that this would be the final boss.
A thin-skinned narcissist with no government experience. Yes, that sounds exactly like Barack Obama.
My whole life has been about winning.
He's like an alien attempting to impersonate a human, but his only research was watching Charlie Sheen interviews. Because although your campaign was the political equivalent of a bigoted clown's blazing funeral pyre, you have accidentally made upwards of 4 good points during this campaign. Now, the big news this week surrounded Donald Trump, a punchline that is quickly becoming a nightmare. Miss USA, for instance, is owned by Donald Trump, a clown made of mummified foreskin and cotton candy.
Not only have our citizens endured domestic disaster, but they've lived through one international humiliation after another, one after another.
What is he even talking about there? Only one major international humiliation from recent history comes to mind, and it's the one standing behind that podium.
May I remind you, Republicans were caught completely off guard by a bright orange man in a bright red hat.
He is basically what happens if The Secret gets into the wrong hands. Her opponent is an unambiguously racist scarecrow stuffed with scrunched-up copies of Jugs magazine, and that's fair. That is a fair point. Donald Trump, America's wealthiest hemorrhoid.
She's running against a candidate who is, according to voters,
running as a 12-year-old.
Just this morning, Trump got some much-needed support from former New York mayor and daytime Dracula Rudy Giuliani.
Inject Rudy Giuliani with a speedball and Red Bull enema.
Oh, you know, Giuliani likes to think of himself as Tom Hagen from The Godfather, but he's really more of an Uncle Junior from The Sopranos.
A former mayor turns professional arsehole.
And if you go online and put down Rudy Giuliani illness, you get this.
America! What happened to it? All people, from the top to the bottom, from the middle to the side. Are we crazy?
Well, you're crazy. From the top to the bottom, middle side.
Okay. Hillary's emails were basically the unofficial theme of the RNC, right alongside How Loud Can Giuliani Scream and Happy Days Residuals Can't Buy You Attention.
Not to mention the fact that you're going to have to give Rudy Giuliani a job and then hang out with him, and I don't have to tell you this, he is crazy.
So now the right-wing media is going to have to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, justifying this choice they've made. Can they make the turn? They already are. Let's trace their journey through the eyes of one of their most talented gymnasts. His name escapes me. Let's just refer to him as Lumpy. Hey, Lumpy.
I know what you're thinking. This is just crazy tabloid stuff. Nobody actually takes any of this seriously, right?
And this is a Fox News alert. A bombshell new report by the National Enquirer details how Bill and Hillary Clinton allegedly utilized the services of a political fixer for over a decade.
Fox News CEO and Jabba the Hutt cosplayer Roger Ailes was accused of repeated sexual harassment. Well, today, he has resigned as the head of Fox News.
And then there's former Fox News chairman and current Jabba the Hutt, Roger Ailes.
And it seems he's currently taking advice from Roger Ailes, a sexually rapacious hard-boiled egg.
Former Speaker and talking bag of laundry, Newt Gingrich.
Priebus, Giuliani, and Gingrich. It's the dream team. But one of those dreams you have when you eat 4 slices of sausage pizza right before bed. Oh, I just had the Gingrich dream again. Telling someone to go work on their anger issues is such a good burn because it's only going to make them angrier. I don't have anger issues. I always look like a testicle after an allergic reaction. Rex Tillerson. Of course, with a name like Rex Tillerson, you can only be one of 2 things: CEO of a multinational oil conglomerate or a Jack Russell Terrier who solves crimes. What's that, Rex? There was a lunar eclipse that night. The mayor's lying.
The media loves me. They try to act like they don't, but they do. They say they're done. They say they've had enough, but yet they keep coming back for more. They're like Christie at a Golden Corral buffet. She just threw more shade than Christie at the beach.
That is a humorous comment, and I shall respond with laughter.
And a man whose name is more synonymous with scandal than Shonda fucking Rhimes.
The New Jersey delegation has saved 1 front row seat for Christie to have the best possible view of the end of his career. Do you want? He wouldn't mind. There you go.
I mean, it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay?
On Tuesday, he told Time magazine that, quote, "I don't believe they interfered. It could be Russian, it could be China, and it could be some guy in his home in New Jersey."
A 400-pound guy at his home in New Jersey? Is he actively trying to frame Christie? It was a big guy from New Jersey, may or may not be standing right behind me.
This is Trump's new White House chief strategist and Robert Redford dredged from a river, Steve Bannon. Now, Bannon's best known for running something called Breitbart News. If you've never read Breitbart, it's the news your racist uncle gets sent to him by his racist uncle.
Let's first take Bannon, whose website Breitbart News has run headlines, among other things, accusing President Obama of shedding phony fascist tears and calling a conservative Trump critic a renegade Jew, which would be the title of an awesome TV show. Rothstein, give me your gun and your yarmulke.
Now, I know that sounds anti-Semitic, but it might be a compliment. Like how you describe a superhero Jesus. Renegade Jew could be the original title of the New Testament. But it's not.
And then there was this classic Breitbart headline, "Birth control makes women unattractive and crazy." And if anyone should be the judge of who's unattractive and crazy, it's pinup model Steve Bannon. He looks like Jabba the Hutt's deadbeat son.
Here are some actual headlines Breitbart published under Bannon's leadership. Why equality and diversity departments should hire only rich, straight white men. Would you rather your child had feminism or cancer? Hoisted high and proud, the Confederate flag proclaims a glorious heritage. And Bill Krister, Republican spoiler, renegade Jew. Bannon is considered a leader of what's known as the alt-right, an extreme online movement with ties to white supremacy. Here's how to understand the alt-right. Think about what's right, then think about the alternative to that.
The WikiLeaks guy is Julian Assange, and you do not want to be confused with him. Partly because he was far less careful than Snowden in what he released and how, and partly because he resembles a sandwich bag full of biscuit dough wearing a Stevie Nicks wig. And that is critical. Julian Assange is not a likable man. Even Benedict Cumberbatch could not make him likable. He's uncumberbatchable. That was supposed to be physically impossible.
Just consider Reince Priebus, RNC chairman and man whose name is an anagram for crisp bee urine.
Okay, Reince Priebus, establishment Republican, good fundraiser. If you rearrange his name, it spells Erie RNC Pubis, but he can't help that.
RNC Chairman Reince Priebus, who, of course, is better known by his name's anagram, Penis Rice-A-Roni. I've said it before. He knows.
I later called him and said, hey, you know, we got to kind of work on this language a little bit.
After you called him and you told him to tone it down, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't tone it down like I asked. He also kept calling me Rinse Pubis. You know him as